Disclaimer. The Joe Mobley Show aims to be suitable for all viewers. However, mature topics are discussed. Minors should always obtain a parent's permission before viewing. Families are encouraged to watch together and engage in meaningful follow-up conversations. While the content provided is for informational and entertainment purposes only, it is not intended as professional advice or services. This show does not constitute medical, legal, financial, relationship, or other professional advice. If you require assistance in any of those areas, please consult with a qualified professional. Some viewers might find information, opinions, and terminology used offensive. The Joe Mobley Show is not intended to offend, but rather to inform and entertain. We do not seek to intentionally offend. However, we do scrutinize various events, ideologies, and opinions through a particular worldview. The thoughts, opinions, and beliefs of any host, personality, or guest of the show are solely representative of the individual espousing them and do not represent the Joe Mobley Show or any other individual, organization, company, or group. No one is making you watch or listen. So, there's that.
Welcome back, guys. I'm freaking live. I'm alive. I'm really here. I'm not AI. Although that would be, that would be really something if I were an AI manifestation of myself. The deep state, they've replaced Joe Mobley. If I just start going completely left-wing and nuts, then I don't know, maybe that's something that happened. Welcome in, sharing out the show. The little bumper video really does help me have time to share out the show, so that's good. Let's see. There are so many things to do. Did you guys miss me? It's all right. You can tell me if you didn't. I'm used to it. Couple of things. All right. You guys know I'm Joe Mobley, original uncloseted conservative. Nothing for the time being. Nothing's happening to the show permanently, I'll say. But constantly searching for ways to make the content better, constantly searching for ways to make the content more interactive, more whatever, digestible, suitable for you, the viewing audience. So I ran the morning show for 8 weeks. Really solid data for a business experiment. 8 to 12 weeks is all you need. That's just from standard consulting or, a coder. It's essentially all you need. So that trial for me, I guess, is run a little bit short. Because I was dying last week. Let me capture all this and pin it up. Thank you for being here over on Rumble. Let's see who is in the building over on the YouTubes. We got Twitter in the building as well. Seriously, Shelby, salute to you. Sup, mofos. Mike Ball, welcome in. Glad you can make it. We got Woody Johnson, classic name. Doesn't make me laugh as much as Beaten Cheeks, but still funny. Woody Johnson, welcome in. Let's go. All right, if you're here, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you share this show with your friends. Welcome in on X. I wonder. X is so interesting. Can I refresh this? There's some hello latency over here. Is that live? Here, let me play it just for a second. Okay, it's caught back up. All right. Just trying to get links and things dropped off where they need to go. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. So constantly looking for ways to make the content better for you all, more digestible, more entertaining, whatever you want to call it. Can I pin that? Yep. There we go. There we go. So did the morning show, did it Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. for an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. Ran that kind of as a trial, as a business case, constantly combing over the data, looking at the data, looking at the analytics on various different platforms, some better than others. I think you guys know Rumble's analytics are very rudimentary and not very useful right now. YouTube's some of the best. X has got really incredible analytics right now as well. Who else is in here? There we go. Oh, I was double signed into my show planner. There we go. Mister, why didn't I get the notification? Screwtube. Yeah, I have no idea. But I will proselytize that Screwtube. I don't think I coined that one myself, but it is the affectionate name that I have for this platform. Still, just one of the largest platforms in the world. I believe YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world, just behind their parent company, Google, who their parent company, Alphabet, just freaking owns everything. Let's see. Welcome in. I'm not going to read that. Yeah. So, yeah, the important things is I'm a freaking live. That has been happening to me as well. Grid One Motorsports, welcome in, my friend. YouTube is definitely doing something a little bit weird right now because they're on the one hand, if it's not nefarious, I can't get mad at them because just like I'm doing, just like so many other business people are doing, you're constantly testing things and trying new things. YouTube algorithm for my homepage, I don't know if it's for you on YouTube. Anyway, it's gotten a little wonky, and it's not because the algorithm has been fed weird stuff. It's just showing me a lot of stuff that I don't care about. This thing, when D&D rules your marriage, Dungeons and Dragons, I don't care about this at all. Yeah, so there is some wonkiness going on right now in YouTube. Maybe they're testing someone's bad idea. I have no idea, but oftentimes YouTube is dialed in. It's giving me what I want. It's showing me exactly the creators. I have been watching more live content than usual right now. So it was showing me more creators who were live when I would get on. Now that's kind of slowed down. There's usually only 2 lives and then a whole bunch of other stuff. But I keep on rabbit trailing here. Got good data on the morning show, and to put a fine point on all of it, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this time to continue a daily hour. Honestly, it would be nice if I could give you more than an hour every day. I cannot. I have a full-time 9 to 5, maybe a little bit 9 to 5 plus. And honestly, most full-time workers, I feel like only lazy people and women complain about full-time being at least 40 hours. It's not 40 hours and done, folks. Most high earners, most high achievers, we work more than 40 hours. I expect to, when I was at Deloitte, I'll tell you what, 40 hours was not going to cut it. I don't think there was anyone at that firm who expected to work 40 hours. And a lot of times in the professional market, guys, you got to put your big boy panties on when you go into the arena. And that's a joke for you feminists out there. While you're getting your big boy panties on, go ahead and untwist them because they're always in some kind of, knot, some kind of twist. 159 subs and you hit 500. Let's go. Thank you, seriously, Shelby. 159. We could do one. I feel like I should be able to do 159 in. Well, let's look. Let's look at the analytics on that. I feel like I should be able to do that in less than 2 months, but am I being pie in the sky? Last 28 days plus 61. It's so interesting that YouTube pioneered this 28-day analytics window. It's very strange. It's not been satisfactorily explained to me by anyone in the know from YouTube, or even the people that are really into this stuff, like Think Media with Sean Cannell. The best explanation is that it always captures a month. The shortest month is 28 days. So essentially it's a month of data less the 29th, 30th, and 31st for months that have it. Anyway, sitting at 341. Guys, it is so painful to go from many thousand YouTube subscribers down to 0. I am still in the process of reading every word, every period, every punctuation otherwise of YouTube's terms of service. Now, shame on me. With my first YouTube channel, I hadn't read the entire terms of service. I read what they would give me strikes for. I would pull that up and I would actually read it. Except for the last strikes that I got, there was nothing cited. They just said, violate community terms of service, you're out of here. But 259, well, I've gotten, over the last 28 days, I've gotten 61 new subs. So that puts us there in just over 3 of these rating periods. So just over, 76 days. I feel like I should get 160 in less than 3 months. So let's make that goal inside of 8 weeks. So we'll see what happens. I mean, YouTube's going to YouTube. Some videos go, some videos don't. I am in the dialing in the content. Actually, I need to get this out before Samantha gets on. Holy smokes. I've run my mouth for too long. Let me put the clock on. This is what happens when you don't put the clock on, folks. You just bloviate, and everyone knows I can bloviate with the best of them. Maybe I should run for Congress, because I would be a champion filibuster. It'd be so good. I'd be like Ron Swanson up in there making sure nothing got done. All right. So for now, juice isn't worth the squeeze for me. Also isn't worth the squeeze for you, because while the content was what it wasn't as good as it could be. And I do desire to put best foot forward in all that I do. Maybe one day, Daily will come back. Good evening to you, Angel Barber. Thanks for being here. Always appreciate your guest appearances on other shows. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun hitting other shows, other panels. It's also a lot of work to coordinate all that stuff. One man band over here. While the morning show, the daily hour's gone away, there's some other things that we can do. So constantly testing, constantly evaluating, constantly seeing if things are working out, if things are adding value. So what I'm going to try and do is extend this weekly show. Freaking frozen on Rumble. Why am I not surprised? Rumble, come on, you got to do something. Let's see. Well, right now Rumble's a little bit behind. Juan Pacheco, thanks for joining. I'm here, soon to be there. Good to see you, Samantha. I'm done after 30 hours. Archangel. Hey, Joe. It is what it is for now. No tax on overtime will be nice for all your extra time. Yeah. I don't I don't make overtime. I'm a salaried employee. Hey guys, there's a new doc coming out. Called Trump Exposed, the man you don't know, from the Global Ascension Studios on the 25th. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I had not heard that. Good grief. I need to take a drink. So, part of the changing of the guard here is we're expanding this Thursday night show. It'll have an opening monologue for roughly 30 minutes, and then Samantha and I will go through the topics for an hour. That hour-long show will be about 8:30 to 9:30, the show that you all know and love as the regular Thursday night Joe Mobley show. I do want to dial that in and try and steal something from Tim Pool's morning show, whereas he plans on, when he does his morning show, he goes through his flow in such a way that he's very mindful of the fact that his team is going to cut every segment into a standalone YouTube video. I need to take on that practice. So he introduces every topic as if it's the beginning of a show, of the beginning of a video. And he's like, and in between segments, he goes over super chats and really kind of looks at the chat. As someone who can be distracted by the chat, I actually need to maybe take that on as well. And then the last hour of the show, and this is one that I'm super excited about. The last hour of the show is call in. Sometimes it'll be panel, sometimes it'll be one or two people up as guests. And we can, it's just a conversation. We can take it wherever it goes, or we can get your thoughts on the material that was covered in the monologue in the show with Samantha and I. Am I off my rocker? Or is she off her rocker? Or, is anything making sense? Have we completely missed the mark in some way, shape, or fashion? So that's how we're going to go moving forward without getting into the topics. Waiting for my esteemed colleague, Outspoken Samantha. Make sure that you guys check her out on the YouTubes, on Rumble, on all of the platforms. She is Outspoken Samantha everywhere. So check her out. And while you're in your devices doing that stuff, if you've not subscribed to the podcast is the number 2 moneymaker around here, guys. I've always been upfront about that. It doesn't cost you anything to pull out your tablet, open up a new tab on your device, or just whip out your phone, open the podcast app, and boom, subscribing to The Joe Mobley Show, hitting 5 stars on there. It pisses off the left, but it makes my heart smile every time I get a 5-star review on the podcast. And if you're a super fan, then you can actually review the show and tell people why they should check it out. All right, thought of the day, guys. Thought of the day from me to you. What are your thoughts about the actual power, the might, the kind of all-knowing, great and powerful Oz of the United States government? Is it like they say, where they're kind of everywhere, they can do anything, they can get to anyone? Is that real? And I don't have an answer. I have a perspective. So honestly asking you guys, is that real? Is it smoke and mirrors? Is it just cap? Are they just lying about are they just lying about their capabilities? No wrong answers. No wrong answers at all. Imperius says the government is dumber than people think. Welcome in. Oh, see, now doing call-in for the last hour, I guess that means that Imperius is gonna Imperi on all of you guys. Yeah, is the United States government as powerful as they is the power that the government projects into the world, but more specifically, is the power that the government projects into your psyche, in that what you believe the government is capable of. Are they able to anticipate or spot and intervene in the majority of crime, not a lot of crime? Are there things that go on that the government doesn't know about, or do they really kind of know about everything? And this is something, I'll be totally honest, this is something that I go round and round and round, only wrong answers. This is something that I go around and around and around from time to time, because while the sun does set on the American empire, it does seem that there's a great deal that the United States government is involved in. There's a great deal that we're able to influence, that we're able to foresee or manipulate and control. Just curious. Is it all a lie? Is it total incompetence? Is it, do we stand on the shoulders of giants, but those giants aren't like real and solid anymore, but just a rickety scaffolding, and those principles are gone, and the sentiments of the founding are gone, and the righteous cause and the kind of individual virtue that you found in an early American, is that just gone? And with it, our knowledge, skills, and capabilities have gone by the wayside. Bill Clinton, somewhere between Nixon and Bill Clinton, this infamous change occurred where we used to universally recognize that the office of President of the United States should be occupied by an upstanding, virtuous, and most people, especially believers, would say a righteous person, someone after God's own heart. Not a perfect person, but someone pursuing righteousness. Well, now we live in a time where this quote is now made famous. Kind of the morality, the ethics of the character of the individual is separate from the office the individual occupies. So we don't really need to worry about their personal character. It's separate. It's this church and state line, which is largely made up and fictitious. And on that same thread of what do you think about the United States in terms of our power, in terms of the things that the government's capable of, and I was actually going to talk about this before I brought it up on Grid's show, An Unreasonable Man, earlier. Thinking about what the government's capable of. Think about the way that you're educated. I was told by Adam Ant, friend of the show, that this guy who I debated, communism, or what, socialism? What did whatever it was. We debated one of the Marxist ideologies. I guess he was born overseas. I guess he was born in the UK, and was kind of, they're having a disagreement about the causes that caused pilgrims to come to the United States. And it comes down to this. What were you taught in schools? What was the curriculum teaching? And apparently in, Her Majesty's England at the time, they were teaching some nonsense about why settlers moved and came across. That's all I'll say. I don't need to get into the whole thing. I don't need to get into everything with that. But it does make me think, what do you believe because you were taught this way? And in particular, what do you believe about far off places in the world? And namely, like Russia. Is Russia bad because Russia's bad? Or is Russia bad because we've been programmed to automatically think Russia bad? Could they do anything good? Have they done anything good? And I've got some theories and I've got some points, but I don't want to just tell you. I want you to tell me. Is Russia bad because Russia's bad? Or as Americans, is that just baked into the cake? Part of the indoctrination that happens here growing up in the States is you learn that Russia is bad, just like you learn that King Charles was bad. And I get it, but I'm curious how much of it, if it crosses from indoctrination, which is, and regular indoctrination is a healthy thing, it's normal. I'm indoctrinating my kids. Samantha's indoctrinating her kids. But indoctrination is something that happens, but it crosses into propaganda when, despite evidence to the contrary, you have to believe the thing that you've been taught. Speaking of Samantha, outspoken Samantha, how are you?
A little off center. Give me a second.
Here, I can move you.
There we go. There we go. Good enough. I'm great. How are you? How is the conversation going so far? I was listening briefly in the chat.
I think it's going well, but I'm just talking, obliviating, doing my thing. I ran out of time for the monologue because I was talking way too long about changes to the show, which is something that I do. But I promise, guys, I'll come back around to my thoughts about Russia, and it's in the third and final story, so I won't forget. I am hearing that my voice is like kind of going in and out. Had a lot of meetings today. And, yeah, I'm alive, but I guess I'm not 100% healthy. I've had raging headaches for days, like these crazy pressure headaches, I think from blowing my nose. My eyes have been sore. My head has been throbbing. Anyway, today is the first day that I don't think I've had a headache in about a week. So that's good.
Yeah. How's the rest of the family doing?
Everyone is back in good working order. Our Typhoid Mary, who's my daughter Violet, she was patient 0. She got the sickest and she has the worst residual symptoms. So she's still like coughing up a lung.
Oof.
And you know how kids, like, she's older now, but she still doesn't have a very productive cough. It's very annoying.
Yeah. You just want to get there and you're like, let me help you.
Yeah, just like cough.
Knock it
like,
loose.
Not like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, stop doing it. And
You
it sounds and
feel
looks
it in your
gross.
toes.
Oh, whoa. Oh, so many jokes that I could fly into, but I won't. Okay, so watched your last 2 videos. Very
From today?
good. Yeah. Very good videos. They're not in the show planner, but and I what I like about your channel now is, especially when I spend less time on Twitter, like I'm hearing things for the first time. It's not just like Samantha's take on this. I'm like, oh, I haven't even heard of this.
That's how you know I spend way too much time on Twitter. I'm like, I need a break.
No.
I need to go talk to like some real people. I need to get some sunshine. So, yeah. I think one of them was about Jack Phillips and his recent court case winnings. Is that one of the ones you saw?
No. One of them was news and the other one was culture. What is your name? Outspoken Samantha. That's you. Oh, no. Yes, Jack Phillips. Yeah, I was like, gay cake guy. Yeah, his name is Jack Phillips. Nope. You're right. And the Oh gosh, what is the name of that show? Call Me Daddy, Kamala thing.
Call her daddy back.
Yeah, but sorry, call her daddy. My bad.
I was like, I think we're done.
Oh, I didn't see this Diddy video that you did. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. Some of them are just clipped from the live stream. So the one about the Call Her Daddy podcast has all of my microphone issues in it, but it's still, I think, a video that people should go and watch. And then, yes, definitely the Jack Phillips situation.
Yeah. I knew exactly when you went under to fix the mic, because we have the same. Well, I stopped. Mine's right down here on the other side of the desk, but the Blue Yeti microphone cable is like loosely connected. I don't know. It's just not a tight tolerance, so I would kick mine out all the time. It just, the cable just flies right out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's always fun in the middle of a live stream. I'm like, let me just dive under the desk right now. So we just keeping it real. But
so getting some comments on the I don't know how much crossover there is between the YouTube audience and the Rumble audience, but comments over there saying Aiden wasn't very prepared for the communism debate. That is true, and I apologize for that. I would say there's nothing I could do, but I guess in theory, best case scenario is someone I debate has opportunity to see and hear my arguments, maybe on the internet, and I have opportunity to see and hear their arguments and really steelman and prepare. Anyway, that wasn't the case. That I tried to be as nice as I could. That debate was kind of a wash. But I think that's just for lack of understanding what the political philosophy in Marx is.
Well, and I think that's a pretty common theme with a lot of the people that argue in favor of socialism / communism or anything other than what we have in America. It's just a very surface level understanding, and they're trying to achieve this utopia that they think is going to happen if more of these socialist policies are enacted. But when it just comes right down to it, they haven't thought about what that would look like in reality. So yeah, I honestly think he was probably recommended to you because whoever recommended him was hoping that you would educate him.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. I think the chat educated him a bit. Imperious, I will not debate you on this because we both believe that monarchy under a righteous king is best. So that would be a waste of everyone's time. Yeah. Joe, you talk too much. That's true. One of my nicknames in high school was BM, and it did not stand for black man. It stood for big mouth. So also, I just have a very large mouth. So, all right. I want to pull up this first story now that we're all alive and well-ish.
All right.
Guys, it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like the media is in the process of having a really awkward breakup, either with the Democrat Party or specifically with Tampon Tim and Heels Up Harris, which we have to call Kamala because no one recognizes who the F you're talking about when you say Harris. They're like, who's he or who's that? It's like the person who's the vice president who's running for president, because we refer to this strata of politician by their last name. But for whatever reason, I guess black or allegedly black women get special rules. So is the media breaking up are they breaking up with the Democrats, or are they just breaking up with Tampon and Kamala?
I don't know. It's been really bizarre to watch over the last few days. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do because they want their candidate to win, don't they? I mean, do they want their people in the White House or not? That's what I'm confused about, because I've seen some of the things that Joe Biden has been saying lately. He seems to be like new best friends with Ron DeSantis. I don't get it. I don't know what is going on. I'm so confused because regardless of what they're doing right now, it just makes me question what the end goal is.
Or do they know the fix is in and they don't need to care? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's entirely possible. And I've thought for a long time, like, they can't have a candidate tank this badly and be so unpopular and just do so horribly and be somebody that is so dumb and just continue to put her out there like she's this shining star and not and be as calm about it as they are and not have something up their sleeve.
Facts.
So
all right. Well, we are going to watch all 4 of the good, 3 Kamala, 1 Tim Pond, of the good clips out there from the 60-minute interviews. While I pull it up, make sure that you like everywhere. Thumbs up. There should be 100 and... I hate that it makes me do math. What's 65 plus 40?
plus 40?
There should be 148.
113?
Oh, I was close. There should be 113 thumbs up across all these platforms. Unless you guys are just here, I don't know, collecting opposition.
Did you hear me say 113 or no?
I heard you say 113.
Oh, okay. I was trying to help. It's fine.
I don't even know what to say about these clips. They're so... This is what the media should be, period. So let's listen to these.
Border for years. And so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood.
Wait a minute. Are these the... I didn't notice this before. Are these the earpiece earrings?
Yeah.
That face says it all. All right. So, okay. Are you... How did I not notice that? It's because I didn't blow it up before.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
She's got a new favorite pair of earrings.
Okay. So even with these totally normal, not Bluetooth enabled earrings, she was still trash? Oh gosh. All right.
But they're
so floppy too. There's a lot. Okay.
I know.
Historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump.
She looks so mad.
Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers today, because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have
have
done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
Well, that's pretty painful to listen to. I don't going back to her first little face. Here, let me turn the sound off. Just the way that she's first looking at him this right here. I don't think that this was, I think the media gives the Democrats the questions to everything in advance. Pop-up press things, debates, everything. I don't think this was on her little cheat sheet. I think this guy is like, I've been a journalist for years. I'm going to do journalist things just this once.
All right. I'm actually going to do my job. You know, I just can't help but think I mean, we already know that she is lying about the border. Like, we've gone over and over this. I mean, Bill's sitting there like, I can't believe I have to sit here and pretend that this woman knows what she's talking about. He's like, this is so insulting to my own intelligence. But I just keep picturing her like trying to sit in the room with the leader of like China or North Korea or one of these terrorist groups, like people that would really like she would have to stand strong and be firm with. And she would fall apart. I mean, I'm sorry, you're not going to have those earrings everywhere you go. She's not going to be able to handle, she buckles under the slightest bit of pressure, and we want to put this person in the White House.
There's also the reality that the next day, I don't know when they actually filmed this because they released the clips and then they released the interview and they edited the interview, which was hilarious because it's like, well, we already saw the clip. So what the heck is this?
Right.
But I think it was like the next day she was on, oh man, who was she on with? And they were
was she
like,
on with the View? No.
Yeah. No. It was the black girl. It wasn't Good Morning America. It was, oh man, it's pinned. It's bookmarked on my Twitter. But she was calling her out about, hey, you're in office right now. What pops up? Lucas Botkin shooting fast because that's what he does. I don't need to bring that up because there's 3 other videos to watch. Kamala Harris she can try and distance herself from Biden, but she can't separate herself from the border thing because she was made border czar essentially on day one. And he said, when he asked the question, she didn't answer. And then he says again for emphasis, and he holds his hands out. He says quadrupled.
Mm-hmm.
That means times 4, guys. That's
well,
bad.
And not only that, he's emphasizing these numbers have happened under your administration, the administration that you are the other half of. This has been going on since day one. Like, he is not buying the load of crap that she is selling. And I think he speaks for all of us when we're like, we know that you guys started this. We know that you signed a bunch of executive orders to eliminate the policies that were working. We know that you've tried to sue every single state that has tried to stop this problem. Like, it just, I love that he pushed back. I still think that he was as gentle as he could be. But at the end of the day, like, she's falling apart because people recognize this doesn't make any sense. Like, she's lying.
Yeah, it's all that she's good at. Yeah, it's probably one of 2 things that she's good at. Tim Murtaugh said, you know what would be hilarious? I got to make this with an AI. Kamala Harris and a Hawk Tuah shirt.
Oh, no.
Would be so funny with like her arm around Willie Brown. Tim Murtaugh said this might be the worst television interview by a candidate in U.S. presidential history. Yep. And I don't want to steal Bill's thunder here. This is funny because Donald Trump called her out for this and she ignored it. Like, no, we're not doing that. But then she gets essentially asked that in an interview and it's just as painful as the first. Let's take a listen.
What your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not.
She's
so many that
upset.
people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States. And I have been...
That is the most classic Kamala Harris answer. If you guys follow Elsa Kurt, she's been on the show. She's got a huge TikTok account. She's the woman who does the impersonation of Kamala. This was classic Kamala. He asked you a question, and you start with, for the last 4 years, I have been vice president of the United States. No, duh, Sherlock. Like, are you serious?
Well, and that's just one thing that she seems to flip-flop back and forth on. Not because, not that she's saying that she hasn't been the vice president, but flip-flopping on her level of responsibility. Like, pretty much distancing herself from everything that has happened in the last 4 years. And then when it suits her, being like, hey, I've been really busy being the vice president for the last 4 years. It's like, which is it, Kamala? Which is it? Like, you've either had nothing to do with this presidency or you've been front and center. There's no middle ground here.
Yeah, it's either she says, I've been the vice president, or I was raised in a middle-class family.
In the last 4 years, I have been vice president of the United States. And I have been traveling our country. And I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of...
This thought bubble is, what the F are you talking about? Did you hear? I'm sorry. Did you hear my question? I don't think you did.
Regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds.
She's answering the job interview question, tell me about yourself. She's not answering his question.
And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values, to find common sense solutions. And that has been my approach. In terms of...
So painful.
He's like, I am so asking for a raise after this.
Yeah. I don't believe he wanted to take this interview. Most people would love to interview the vice president. I don't think he wanted to take this. I think he told the studio, I think he told 60 Minutes no, and they made him do it. And this is him getting back at them.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. The funny thing is when people say, when he says people don't know who you are because you flip-flop your positions, that is who she is. We know exactly who she is because she flip-flops every time she's trying to figure out what's going to make her more popular, figure out what's going to get her more support. She is telling us exactly who she is. There's no question here. I love that face.
Supreme Court thing just popped up on my Twitter. This must be Imperious, like, manifesting things.
If you flipped the screen on Bill, he would almost have the JD Vance.
I gotta say, it's nice to see an articulate, competent black man, because there's so many black men out there, just as a younger guy, just letting us down. So even though he's a super left-wing guy, I get it. It's nice to see. Well done, Bill. Wish my wife would let me grow a mustache. Not really a mustache, a beard, but so I just shaved this afternoon, actually. SCOTUS just makes me want to die right now, just looking at the picture of it. Anyway, it's interesting to me that part of her career as a politician, part of the way that she shows up, because we got to show up and do the work. And part of the way that she shows up is completely unprepared, leading with her gender and her race. It doesn't matter if it's Indian or black. I could care less. And when she shows up, she's unprepared. She doesn't have policy solutions. So she's now at the point in her weird political agenda where she's hearing things out in the wild, like on Twitter or apparently in Donald Trump's campaign ads. And she's just picking and choosing policies that she likes without actually understanding the policy and how it is intellectually aligned to one agenda or the other. Mm-hmm. She made her career, we'll close her legs for a moment and pretend that she made her career as top cop, attorney, prosecutor, attorney general, tough on crime.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane to try and bridge the gap between progressivism, which is the modern day left, and tough on crime. Any crime. Domestic battery, crimes against women and children, and DUI, any crime. It's impossible. The mental gymnastics that you have to do to be tough on crime, AG, lock them up, and defund the police, and BLM, and $2 billion of property damage. It's insane. So I think she's given up.
Yeah.
And she said, I've made it. The media is carrying water. I'm running for president with no policies on my website until like 10, 11 days ago. I can say whatever I want. So she's picking and choosing policies, and now she's saying that we're going to be tough on the border. But she's also saying that the border's not a problem. And he asked her, he's like, look, the people are confused. The columnists are confused. The people are confused. He could have said, frankly, I'm confused. What is your thing? Like, what's your shtick? Yeah. Could you give us a stump speech and then we'll know where you stand? Because what we know about you is you grew up in a middle-class family. You're a woman. You did not have sexual relations with that man. You did.
Yeah. No, I'm always just completely baffled every day that this is someone who is being taken seriously as a candidate for president of the United States. But there's a reason that the only places that she does well are podcasts like the Call Her Daddy podcast or going on The View, where she's not going to be pushed on anything substantive. She can pretend to be this hero for women. And I do have to apologize on behalf of women, because it really is the female vote at this point. I believe that is carrying her. And I have tried, not that I think that there's like a lot of women out there really listening to what I have to say, but I've tried to put it out there like, guys, you know what? There's life outside of abortion. There's life outside of promiscuity.
Literally.
There's life outside of, these two little things that you seem to only care about. And I don't know how to get women to wake up to the fact that this woman is an embarrassment to who we are and should not be, if we are ever going to elect a woman to be the president of the United States. Not that I think necessarily that would be a great idea, but if we did, we can do so much better than this. She's not a serious candidate.
You were right. It was The View. Just thinking about that. So Bill's asking, hey, what are your policies? You seem to be wishy-washy. She's got nothing. She's got her normal whatever. And then she was asked this on The View. Now, I don't know when the 60 Minutes thing was recorded, but it seemed like this appearance on The View happened the day after they started releasing clips, but maybe the day before they released the full interview. Anyway, this is what she's got to say about her current record, because don't forget, this administration is her administration. She's the vice president. That's not an insignificant position. It's wild.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not
opportunity, anything at all.
She's like, I grew up in a middle-class family.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change that. Oh, screw it. I'm just going to blow it.
Thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Well,
all right. I try not to swear a lot, but this face is a... Bitch, are you serious right now? Yeah. Are you serious? 13 service members blown away and a dozen other missing arms and legs and things. She's like, are you serious? So Afghanistan, totally cool with?
Let's not pretend Sunny Hostin cares anything about that at all. But how is Kamala Harris supposed to answer that question? Like, if she says yes and lists off all the things that she would want to change, then she admits that this administration was a failure. But if she says, no, I wouldn't change anything, then whatever we're looking at that's happened in the last 4 years is what we can expect a continuation of. So there was no good answer to that whatsoever. So I don't even know why Sunny Hostin would even ask that question.
There's always an answer. The very first president of the United States, he's doing his farewell address, and he says that, number one, I'm aware of my own inadequacies, but I'm also aware that I'm unconscious to certain other ineptitudes that I must have. George Washington was like, unlike Cardi B and Beyonce, I am not feeling myself. I understand that I make mistakes, like any good leader should, and essentially is asking for blanket amnesty, is asking for forgiveness from the American people on behalf of his humanity. And this is a basic tenet of leadership. Hey, I don't always get things right. Please have grace for me as I grow and learn in this thing. If I woke up and was president, I think I'd do a good job, but I wouldn't bat 1,000. And you can say, especially the easiest, it's sad to say, the lowest hanging fruit is if you're the commander-in-chief and you have lost service members, you could say that those people and their families are still on your heart. They're still on your mind, and you wish that things could have been done differently, even if there was no choice. If you lost a man on the Osama bin Laden raid, you would still send them, but you wish that things could. She could have said any number of heartfelt, soft-handed things, but she can't because she's retarded. She has no idea how to do this. She doesn't. She has no tact.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, all of the things that you listed, that makes sense. And yeah, it is nice to actually see a little bit of humility from especially people in politics that we elect to represent us, because we like to know that they remember that they are still human beings, because that seems to be something most of them have forgotten these days. But she's not smart enough to go that deep, like that it's okay to say, you know what, we've had some issues, things, haven't gone as well as we would like, but I would appreciate the opportunity to move forward and to continue to improve. I mean, yeah, of course there were multiple things she could have said. And probably the worst answer, I think the worst answer is the one that she gave. Like,
she could have said anything.
Yeah, she could have said, even the I grew up in a middle-class family would have been a better answer.
Honestly, she could have pulled a Donald Trump. She could have picked something that she thinks that she's doing a stellar job and say there's still room for improvement. The economy could be crushing it. It's not. She could say, you know what? This is the best economy we've ever had, but we can do better. Or we could have done better. Like she could have even done again, this is like weird job interview questions. This is the tell me about your greatest weakness. And you kind of try and turn it into a strength or whatever. She could have done one of those.
Right.
Like, hey, we brought the troops home. Maybe we could have brought them home a little sooner, a little better. Like, we did this good thing. Maybe we could have done it a little better. Like, dude, don't say nothing.
Right. Nope. Not a thing. We nailed it.
Was she wearing the earrings? Because I can't see.
Maybe
her ears.
That's why she forgot her earrings at home for this one.
Yeah, if she was wearing the earrings, the people were like, "Don't say nothing, don't say nothing," and she just heard "say nothing." She was like, nothing. We're doing great. This is my this one. Guys, we can't orchestrate this. We don't have the kind of juice. This is my favorite clip of all of the interview clips. I don't even need to explain it, guys. The pure irony will not be lost on you.
A quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
It's an election, Bill. And I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. This is an election for President of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
Oh, man. It would have been such a great follow-up if he was like, now, wait a minute. just for clarity.
Right.
How many primary votes did you get? And like, is she screwing with us? Because she's saying it's like a game of chess. From the first move, there were 84 billion different combinations, and she is doing the very worst response time and time again. She could have said so many other things, and she said the worst one. You have to earn people's votes. Candidates don't just get selected and
We're not just installing candidates over here.
What?
And I think this is just the level of stupidity that the Democrats truly feel that their supporters have. Because they can just throw out whatever crap they want, and they can pretend that that because they've said it out loud and said that they disagree with that out loud, that means it's something that they haven't done. It's just the ultimate in gaslighting. They're like, if we condemn this thing verbally and say, we can't just install candidates, like who would do that? That's such a stupid thing to do. That's not what we stand for. Then all of their voters are like, see, she wouldn't be saying that if that's what happened. So,
Reality Pocket says Hillary Clinton's in her ear trying to sabotage her.
I think it's Jill Biden.
That would be funny. And let's come back to Tim Pond in a second. You know, everyone says that they want a candidate that they can have a beer with. Does anyone feel this way after watching
giving
this?
a drink to the Vice President of the United States without asking? You asked for Miller High Life. You asked for Miller High Life. I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was...
She had some wine probably 30 minutes before this.
Beforehand.
Yeah, but the last time she had beer...
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so am I reading too much into things just based on the way that she drinks this beer tells me that this woman does not drink beer. Is it just me? Am I being...
At a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, cheers. There
cheers.
You go. There you go.
Oh my God.
Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Champagne.
She chose this beer, but she has to read the label to recall the catchphrase of one of America's most famous beers. And she's looking at it right now.
Milwaukee,
The
Wisconsin.
champagne and beers.
There you go.
Girl, you don't drink Miller.
Oh my gosh.
This is just... She's lying. It's just not true.
And as funny as it is so sad. Like remember when a few years ago when there was a certain group of people that were like, we need to put the adults back in the White House. We need to be taken seriously again. And we need to have like a higher standard for who we put in office. I remember that like it was yesterday. And this is what's happening right now. Like it's funny, but it also just kind of makes me feel a little bit sick. I have a little bit more. Huh?
That's a good call out. They were saying exactly what you said. We need the adults back. That is such a good point. We should pull up those clips of them saying that. A return. It wasn't just a return to normalcy. It was exactly what you're saying. The adults are back.
Yeah.
Clearly not. This is what it looks like to cram on your homework assignments.
She's like, this I can do.
Miller in a can. I grew up in Milwaukee. You never drink Miller in a can.
Has anybody checked the Miller stock after that?
Honestly.
After that appearance?
All right. 50-second clip. It's the last of the interview clips, but now I'm convinced that this man is a national treasure. after he puts tampon Tim's feet to the fire like this. This is, if you've not seen this clip, you're welcome. You've not seen?
I
it's
was
glorious.
too busy with all of the Kamala clips, shaking my head and just trying to absorb all of that craziness. I didn't make it to the tampon Tim clips.
Get this one is a treat.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind
Wait a minute. Look at his face. He's so happy. Oh, I'm a knucklehead. It's like, you lied about China. Oh, shit.
Yes.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
In your debate,
I don't want somebody in the White House who is a knucklehead.
He said, but isn't it more than that? And he says, well, I'm not a pathological liar. He said, but it feels like you kind of are.
Yeah.
He's like, it's more.
Can you be trusted to tell the truth? Yeah, well,
That's the
can.
kicker when he says those words. Well, some people wouldn't find you trustworthy.
He's like,
bravo. Oh, this guy, I am so, this man is where is he? Where are you, Bill? He is a national treasure. He has done his homework. This is how it's not just Steve Doocy, guys. This is how you prepare. This is how you're a real member of the press class, the journalist class. Journalists are in the Constitution because of the power that they have. This is a responsible use of the power of the pen, folks. He says, well, you kind of tongue-in-cheek, you say that you're a knucklehead. Are you talking about your pathological lying to the American people about your military career and your time over in China and your time in Afghanistan, of which you've never stepped foot in? He's like, are you talking about those things? Because people don't think that you're trustworthy now and you're trying to become the vice president. So this is honest journalism.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you know what? You know what this reminds me? This is like when your kid goes to the principal's office and they're sitting there and they know that they've really screwed up, and the principal is trying to pry that answer out of them, and they're like, well, did you put the tax on the teacher's chair? They're like, yeah, no, that wasn't. Are you sure that you didn't? Because it's just like trying to pull answers out of a child. And it's like, guys, we've all had those conversations with our kids. We want them to admit to us what they did wrong. We don't want to have to tell them for us. And we just sit there and wait for the answer to come out. And that's what it feels like watching Tim Walz speak.
I can't tell you how much I love that last clip. I really do. It's so good.Maybe that'll become my new daily post, at least until the election on Twitter.
Yeah. But you can just tell with both of them that they go into these interviews and they do not think that anybody is going to push them. They think that the media is 100% on their side all the time, which, they've gotten that false sense of security because 98% of the time the media is friendly towards them and don't push them on these things. But they're not prepared for when it happens. And I am grateful for these moments when it's like, we're not on the Call Her Daddy podcast here with Bill Whitaker. We're going to have an actual serious conversation. I'm sorry, did you see Alex Cooper on the door out there? Nope. This is Bill Whitaker. So yeah, I'm grateful when we do have these moments when they're sat down and they have to try to defend themselves. And it's funny because they don't have to push very hard to expose these people for who they are. It's not like they really have to dig to realize just how badly they're lying. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
All right, gonna jump to, actually, never mind. I'm not gonna put that in the chat. Gotta jump to the next story. I'm gonna skip the Loudoun County thing. Gonna start call-in show in about 10, 15-ish minutes when we finish up the stories here. Well, emergency response, guys. We're staring down the barrel of these hurricanes, and a lot of people are seemingly unprepared. Chief among them, the United States government is seemingly unprepared for these crises, and they're trying to make it sound like a right-wing talking point that FEMA is strapped for cash, that FEMA doesn't have enough money to weather the storm, literally. And now they're saying, of course we do. Where do you crazy right-wingers get that idea? Well, maybe from ABC News. Mayorkas warns that FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through hurricane season. Or maybe alternative AP. Mayorkas warns that FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through hurricane season. Also, his own press conference that he gave. Maybe they read The Guardian. Any one of these left-wing outlets. So, kind of Freudian slip there. Outlets, rather, are telling us from the horse's mouth that Yeah, he's the Secretary of Homeland Security, is he not? Yeah. Kind of has something to do with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, does he not? Is he? Am I confused?
Yes. No. It's just so funny to me because we're the ones that are constantly accused of spreading misinformation and lying and whatnot. But it's like Alejandro Mayorkas, straight from his mouth, says we don't have enough money in FEMA to get through the rest of hurricane season. Okay, great. We heard that. Terrible. The second anybody on the right starts repeating exactly what Alejandro Mayorkas says, it's like, the mass psychosis is astonishing. They're like, that's a right-wing talking point. That's misinformation. And it's like, I got it straight.
We got it from you. I'm beginning to think we can't win.
I am right there with you.
I don't know what to do with it. Okay, so on this topic, and definitely if you disagree, I want to hear from you in the call-in show. On this topic,
I don't.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Here, let me pull this up because there's a lot to this not having enough money. What do we got? Well, subscribe to Alice, Brooke, and Samantha. Didn't mean to click on that.
Here we are.
Yeah. Anyway, go away. Newsweek, how Florida Republicans who voted against FEMA funding reacted to Milton, blah, 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 blah. But when you come down here, it says Congress passed a stopgap spending bill on September 25th. Here, let me zoom in here so you guys know I'm not making this up. And because it's hard for me to read, being black and all, so you can read it yourself. Congress passed, hold on. Okay, mouse, freaking work. It's not working. Congress passed a stopgap spending bill. I thought stopgap was 2 words. Maybe I can't read. Spending bill on September 25th to keep the government's agencies funded in December to avoid a shutdown, leaving final spending decisions until after Election Day. This is not a bad thing. That's a very normal thing. It's not optimal. Optimal is a balanced budget. October 1st, new fiscal year, the budget is out. Congress is, huck to it, that thing, and we got a freaking balanced budget. Senators passed the measure in a 78-18 vote, blah, blah, blah. Republicans supplied all of the no's in both chambers. The bill provided $20 billion with the B for FEMA, the same amount the agency received last year. It also gave FEMA flexibility to draw on the money as needed and blah, 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 blah. I don't care at all. I don't care at all. I don't care at all about spending bills and all this bullcrap. We're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to countries that Americans can't locate on a map.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear, nope. I don't want to hear that our government doesn't have money to help Americans, period. I don't care if we have to send the 82nd Airborne over to Lebanon to take our money back. It's ours. It actually says on the bill, do I have a bill? I don't have my wallet. It says on the bill that this is the United States's, not yours.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money we've sent to Ukraine? I lost count. I think we're over $300 billion.
Something like that. Yeah. I have no idea.
So,
And at the same time, Antony Blinken tweets, we just authorized $157 million to go to Lebanon because we're all about taking care of people that are displaced, or whatever the tweet was. And he did it. And this is, what I talked about on my live stream on Wednesday. He did it without Congress. And yet all of these people are saying we can't add more money to FEMA because Congress isn't back yet. It's like, well, that you guys have no problem authorizing money to go anywhere else in the world except for to the East Coast of the United States where people need it. And it's our money. And I agree with you. To me, it's not even just about whether or not it's in FEMA. It's about any of the money that is going anywhere. It's like, if you can authorize money to go overseas, you can immediately authorize money from anywhere, from any of these funding areas of our budget to go to people who need it here. Pull it from somewhere. So, yeah.
guys, Google doesn't want to tell me. Someone in the chat, how much money have we given them? Because I hear everything from 300 billion. Some say over $1 trillion. I don't think that's true. How much money have we given? Mr. Mister says 500 billion. 250 not in dollars, but military reserves and assets. Okay. So I was close. Some $300 billion. $300 billion, but FEMA can't get 20 for people who are drowning in their homes. The whole thing, it makes me want to strangle someone. Sorry, You were saying.
No, I am right there with you, because I am so tired. And this is why I think that it just feels like we can't communicate with people on the other side, especially when they pull stuff like, if we say that FEMA's running out of money because they said that they didn't have enough money for the rest of the hurricane season. That's a quote directly from Alejandro Mayorkas. And they're like, that's a right-wing talking point. That demonstrates we are just incapable of communicating with these people. But it's like, that's not the point. The point is that we have our own people that are suffering, that need help. And you have just got on stage and said, we don't have the money to do that. How is that not infuriating to you? When we have the ability to send money anywhere else in the world to supposedly other people that are suffering. And this hasn't been the first time. This has been a repeated theme over the last 4 years. We saw it with Lahaina. We saw it with East Palestine. We're seeing all of these people come forward in their cities talking about illegal migrants taking over their entire cities and communities. People have been screaming about suffering in some way on so many different levels for so long. Yet we're the only people, the American citizens are the only ones that this government ever seems to run out of money and resources for.
Couldn't have said it better myself. They don't. These people who swear these oaths to support and defend and discharge their duties of the office, blah, 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 good and faithful, they're all full of crap. And honestly, to my surprise, because I talked crap about him when he was first running, when he first came down the golden escalator, to my surprise, the most America First doing things for everyday Americans is billionaire Donald Trump. Happy to have been wrong. I was wrong about Donald Trump. I'll voting for him all 3 times. So,
by the way, I would have loved to have been wrong about Joe Biden too. Like, I would have, like, nobody wants to go into, after this man was elected, got into the White House, nobody wants to think, okay, like, this is for sure going to be really bad. Like, let's hope and pray that we've been wrong this whole time, that he's going to be amazing. He's going to fight for America, because nobody wants to be on the airplane with a pilot that's going to fly it into the ground. Like, we're like, you know what? I'd really like this pilot to fly the plane safely. I am hoping and praying. And that's not what's happened. So it's not like we're actively like hoping that these people fail so that we can say, I told you so, because that means all of us are going down with them. But at what point do you wake up and realize, like, this is who they are? They're not going to change. They're not going to pull the nose of the airplane up. Like, we are crashing to the ground.
I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like, isn't that what we've been doing for like the last couple of years? It's like saying people, hey, I don't think this is normal. I think the cruise is on. It's headed straight into a mountain, or freaking driving off a cliff, whatever little, what are those things called? Not a simile, whatever little metaphor you want to use.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah. And then, we get people that come out and, like, again, Alejandro Mayorkas saying, hey, we are spiraling downward. We don't even have any fuel left in the tank. And we're like, hey, guess what? We don't have any fuel left in the tank. And they're like, that's a conspiracy theory. It's like, hey, guys, the pilot just told us we don't have any fuel left in the tank.
Like Gimpy said, smash that like button, guys. Tucker Carlson called this the ship of fools. Yeah, I can see that. Tucker, classic. Gotta ask, trying to land the plane here before they crash into something. Wow, how are we feeling about the demonstration of emergency response? Because, if you're plugged in, like I think many of you are, you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. All I was seeing for days after Helene, which is old news now because we're currently getting pounded by another, particularly Florida, by another hurricane. What is it? Milton. That's just such an odd name. Milton, like Milton is just such a, if there's a Milton watching, I'm sorry. Milton is just such a lame name. Anyway, it seemed like all the effective emergency response was happening from NGOs, was happening from, again, just like Afghanistan with the interpreter debacle, was happening from veterans with privately owned boats, privately owned helicopters, private skills, using their own supplies, churches, nonprofits, going out and getting it done. And at every pass, the government was making it harder to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Well, and again, this is me just spending way too much time on TikTok, but how many people are sharing videos saying there's nobody from FEMA here? Or if they're, they've had one pilot from FEMA, or I was watching one lady who was talking about how she's been working nonstop around the clock. They have like this, I think it's like a school gymnasium or something like that, filled with just supplies that have come in from all of these charities and organizations. And they're like, we've had one FEMA representative here for like an afternoon to kind of help organize things, and then they left. Like, they're the ones that have been working nonstop around the clock trying to organize the supplies and get it distributed. And again, this speaks to, regarding FEMA, like, I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to not be doing their job. I take no pleasure in saying that FEMA is failing at their responsibility right now. Like,
failing emergency management agency.
Yeah, exactly. Put that on a t-shirt. You heard it here first. Because I think a lot of people, especially on the left, think that the only reason we criticize anything is for political points, like to try and tear down, to make some kind of political point. And it's like, no, I'm saying it because it's true. And if you can't point out what the truth is, then you can't fix the problem. And FEMA is failing. So if we can't acknowledge that, then we don't know how to address it. But if you keep pretending that it's not happening, or thinking that I'm only saying it because I'm trying to make your side look bad, then nothing gets done. But I would love it if FEMA would go in there and do their job. Like, that would be great, but they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Juan over on Rumble says, I lost 2 friends in North Carolina because of Elaine. FEMA can go redacted. You can fill in whatever colorful language you'd like. Juan,
Right.
sorry to hear about those friends. We were messaging. My wife's from North Carolina, and my in-laws and all live down there, and so I was like constantly texting people, and thankfully they didn't get any of the brunt of the storm, just rain like we did up here in Virginia. I was watching John Lovell's video, and a lot of Georgians were like, we're fine. We're totally out of the path of this thing. And there was a lot of flooding and property damage all the way up in Georgia, which is wild. John Lovell's basement flooded, which is, he's kind of bummed about because he literally lives on the high ground. Anyway,
Can I just bring up like one more random point regarding all of this like hurricane stuff? So I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like we're becoming very disconnected from reality and like almost like desensitized to danger even when we're in it ourselves. I cannot count the number of people that I saw posting videos being like, I'm just hanging out in my house. I'm going to die. It's fine. Like, going outside their apartments, being like, look, you know, I am really far above the ground. I am in evacuation zone A. So they're like right in the direct path of it. They're like, we're just going to hang out. It's totally fine. Posting video after video being like, check it out, guys. Look at the wind. And I'm like, are we okay?
They're dancing, doing Michael Jackson dances with all the wind. That's a good call out as well. I've been speechless with some of the things. Do you remember the girl? She was like doing the worm and stuff in the water. Like her house was flooded and she was like doing TikTok dances. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
This isn't even like sanitary. This is disgusting. This is standing water.
For me, like we live in Texas, and like the first tornado season that we were here, I think it's probably, I mean, and nothing really severe happened, but it's probably the worst since we've been here. The first year we were here was probably the worst. And I mean, the first tornado season, I was like on edge all the time. I was like glued to the weather app. I'm like, we're all going to die. I'm like, what is going on? And I mean, at this point, you realize most of these alerts aren't really going to do anything. But if I think something severe is going to happen, like I'm going into my laundry room, I'm setting up, like I'm getting a couple of blankets in there, I'm making sure that I know where the batteries are, like I'm doing everything that I can to prepare ahead of time. And I realize like we can't evacuate every time something happens, but I'm preparing as much as I can. And I have a healthy respect and a fear for these things. Like I'm not pretending that this isn't going to hit me or that it can't impact my family or my life. So it just, the disconnect completely, I don't understand it at all. So I'm just wondering, like, are we okay?
Girl, I was stationed at Fort Sill from 2013 to 2020, and I just Googled. I was like, which year is it? Freaking 2015. 108 tornadoes in Oklahoma. It was multiple times I had soldiers out and they would call and they were like hauling butt from tornadoes. One time, one of them, he was on I-40 or whatever in Oklahoma City, just driving south back to base. He was trying to RDB. And I hear he's driving. This is Peters. This is you, Peters, if you're watching. And he's driving. And the other soldiers are freaking out in the car, and because there's tornadoes on both sides of the interstate, there's nowhere to go. And he's just like, it's not going down like this. Not going down like this. He's just going like 100 miles an hour, just saying it's not going down like this. And then finally, I hear Irvin. I hear you yell out, F those tornadoes. And then the phone went dead. I was like, oh gosh. I'm like calling first sergeant, like, my Joes are dead. I'm going to have so much paperwork. They were friends too. They weren't just like, yeah, they were friends. And it was like, Peters is supposed to go to the board next month. Oh man. That first 2013 was our first tornado season, but 14, we started to feel like nothing burger, but 2015 was off the chain with the tornadoes. It was wild. Green and purple skies all over the place. Yeah, I did not miss that. That's Texas,
Yeah.
Oklahoma. You guys can have that tornado crap.
Yeah, no, that it's definitely been an adjustment coming from Colorado where we just don't have things like that. But I just don't. And I mean, on TikTok, I was literally like saving all of these people's videos. I'm like, I'm going to check on these people tomorrow and make sure they're not dead. Like, it just, yeah. And I mean, the biggest story.
I get it. Milton Friedman, great guy, but Milton is still a weak name. I'm not going to take that back.
Well, did you ever see the movie Office Space?
Yeah, a long time ago.
With the guy with the stapler. His name was Milton. They moved his desk down into the basement and
oh no, I'm thinking something else. I'm thinking Springtime and Hitler, or what is that called? The company where they make a musical that the Nazis were the good guys or whatever. Am I crazy? Yeah, Gippy says red stapler. Yeah, I don't know. Yes. Oh, come on, red guys. Springtime for Hitler in Germany. Here we go. The Producers. I was thinking The Producers.
Oh yeah, nope, that's not even remotely close to the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it for copyright reasons. But yeah, Springtime for you. It's not okay. I feel like if you have to say this, that it's normally bad. It's not. It's not. It's not like super anti-Semitic. It's they try. They will get money if they make the worst musical. So they're like, oh, we can make a musical that has terrible ratings. So they're like, oh, we'll make a musical glorifying Hitler. Like he's like the good, like what life is like for him. And it's like all the things that he enjoys, like Springtime in Germany for Hitler. But it turns out to be like a cult classic and everyone likes it. Anyways. Yeah.
I know I've heard of it. I've just never seen it. No, especially if you have an office job, you need to watch the movie Office Space. It's a good one.
I'll have to pull that up. All right.
Not with the kids in the room.
Thank you for that. I am dropping the call-in link. So that's all we have. I'm just going to skip the LCPS story. But that's all we have for normal programming. I don't know if you're staying. I don't know if you're going. I don't know if... I haven't seen your cat. Is everything cool? Did the Haitians get your cat?
No, she's actually up here I have like this little ledge and she's just staring at me. So I'm waiting for her to jump down and smash the keyboard. But yeah.
Does your cat do the cat boxing thing?
The cat boxing thing?
Yeah, like paw stuff, like crazy hard.
Like, pow. Only to the other, only to the other cats. They kind of get into it and they start slapping each other around. It's kind of funny, but yeah. I can hang out for a few minutes for the call-in, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. I can't put it in the Twitter. Okay, there we go. The window's got to be big enough for me to put the... All right, yeah, there's the link. Call in if you would like to tell us that we're wrong about everything. And goodness gracious. Yeah, this SCOTUS thing, though, I don't know, Imperius, what you're talking about, unless it's the cake case, but that guy's name wasn't Anderson. What did he?
The cake guy, Jack?
Yeah.
Jack Phillips?
Yeah, but what did he say? Anderson? Arthurton? Arthur? Yeah, I can't find that chat right now. Hey, if you've made it this far, you are a fan. Why can't I find the button? Here it is. So make sure that you like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, but also go to the website where you can get on the email list or become a member and blah, 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 blah. You can do all the stuff. One of all the stuffs you can do is buy merch. Some of this merch is going to be coming down soon. Why? Because the election is going to happen and I'm not going to have election-centric stuff on the shop after the election. So problems getting one or two items on the shop. Still haven't been able to figure that out, and my tech guy is not super helpful, or has not been super helpful with that issue. He's very helpful. Dave, you're very helpful. And but it's fall, so we got to start pushing the sweatshirts. My sweatshirts used to be manufactured by Bella and Canvas, which I still think is like the softest sweatshirt, but I've been overruled by the ladies out there who say that this company's sweatshirts are actually softer, and I forget who makes it. It's called oh geez, do I not have it in here? It's that company, you know that you know the thing. It's called like Color something. Anyway, Comfort Colors or whatever. And honestly, I say the girls, and it is the girls, but my wife really insisted on this because crazy soft shirt, crazy soft, just like the other shirts, but they have more responsible manufacturing processes, like the ink is non-toxic and the cotton is like organic or whatever. Yeah, so it's like good for the environment and your skin, apparently. I still put toxic crap on, and I hear about it. I don't really hear about it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do. I'm so upset that I can't find this. Comfort Colors. That's the name of the company. There you go. So Comfort Colors, their freaking sweatshirts are here. I do have something over here that I wanted to show you guys. One sec. So I've been trying to get this right for such a long time, and they finally sent samples that work because the other ones were like laughably stupid. I could say that. They're not watching this. But the uncloseted conservative snapback with the actual like embroidered letters is finally freaking here. I've been waiting over a year for this. like because I wear shirts, but I'm not a huge graphic tee guy. I pretty much wear t-shirts at home. I don't wear t-shirts out in the wild, like graphic tees. I kind of gray man around a little bit. I'm a hat guy. Like hats are my accessory of choice. So uncloseted conservative hat is here. I like it. They did a good job. I needed permission to use this because someone else actually does have it. It's not a registered trademark, but it's just a piece of their, yeah, okay. I can dig it. But kind of new-ish thing, build is greater than break, which some of you conservatives out here that are like, burn everything down, you need to get this in your mind. Because we can't just burn everything down if you're not prepared to make something. If the founding fathers weren't like, oh gee, let's get into this thing, and then whatever happens. Yeah. No, you got to be prepared to freaking do something. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm fighting with a cat here. Stop.
Do it. All right. Well, no one is calling in. It's just Samantha and I guess we could have done the LCPS story. Your cat's cracking me up.
Well, the other one is back there, so they're taking over here. They're concerned about the events of Springfield. We can do that.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we can do that story, or I can send you a TikTok real quick that we can respond to.
Oh, let's do it. Send the TikTok.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can find it really quick, because it's one of those ones that has been stuck on my brain since I watched it, but I got to find it. Because I've been saving everybody's TikToks to make sure that all these people in Florida didn't die.
All right. For better or worse, we'll welcome in. No, just kidding. Imperious, how are you doing? Good. Samantha pulls that up.
How are you, sir? Hear me okay or no?
Say again?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Okay, good.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, no, I mean, he looks like some kind of buffoon from like the Muppets or something. Have you noticed that Tim Walz, he just looks like he's a bumbling Muppet. I don't understand. Like, he's incompetent. He's just incompetent. But he tries to play that funny, like, I'm just a goofy one of the guys, we can have a beer together. Don't worry about me. I'm all nice and happy. So it's he picked the wrong guy. And I think that's the biggest choice that sunk her campaign. She didn't pick Shapiro. And I think that sunk her campaign, honestly, because there's no advantage to her picking him. There was absolutely none. Zero advantage. Because Trump knew that he could use Vance as a surrogate and put him on all these talk shows, all these media operatives and stuff like that. He knew he could use him to keep him on TV and go on the media blitz and stuff. But there's no advantage that she chose to him other than he's even more liberal than she is.
That is not supposed to look like that. What in the world?
What was that?
Yeah, I don't.
What's
I
that?
don't know. I hit the wrong button. Yeah, I have.
Was
to do
that
this
somebody
manually.
or?
Yeah, no, that's seriously Shelby. Hold on a second here.
Oh, I was like, who is that? I don't have red hair.
Let me reorganize the boxes. Oh, that's
Jesus,
too funny.
Joe, get it together. Come on.
I have a 4 scene and I can't find it right now, so that's annoying. There we go. Oh, now you're all zoomed in. Good grief. All right, Joe, get it together.
God, Joe, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, it just has you zoomed in. It is what it is. We'll just leave
Dude,
it.
I literally had no option that say no screen.
Oh, no, you do. Here, let me find it. Yeah, it should be on your thing. Here,
It literally says facing back, facing front, and then facing back, and then facing front.
Let's see here. Did you find the TikTok, Samantha?
No, I'm looking,
okay,
and
cool.
It might not be. I should have found it earlier, but
you guys myself.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look for just another second.
Shelby split. Whoops.
Anyway, yeah, but Joe, the case I was talking about was Vanderstock versus Garland. That's the frames and receivers rule case.
Oh,
I
think we I think we lost that one.
Yeah, I don't
default.
know. I mean, I'm hoping we don't. I mean, they're gonna have a hard time justifying it, but I think they're gonna keep. What they might do is give it a split ruling, like any kit or anything will have to be serialized, but the frames of the receivers might not have to be. We might take that. I don't know, but yeah, I think that'll be a tough one, just because it's like
not bad.
They're so.
Why is there too many?
Yeah, the judges are just not. They're not aware of like technology on how actually things work. Like it's all theoretical.
That's
theoretical to them.
Understatement of the.
They don't understand like how. Yeah, like to them, like the problem with this rule, if it goes into place, is that it's going to lead to anything is a firearm.
Yep.
Where everything, every single thing is going to be, and everything has to be registered. Everything. And then that's the problem.
It's potato silencers all over again. Do I need to get a Texan for this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing we can hope is that, if Trump wins, he can repeal the rule and then moot the case. You know what I mean? And that might be fine. I think that's what the court wants too. I don't think they want to really rule on this, but I think the 4 conservative justices were really pissed about not putting a stop on it in the beginning, because I don't know how they're going to reconcile this case with Chevron being knocked down. I don't know how, because this is a clear expansion of the rule. They're trying to take Section A and incorporate it into Section B, and that's explicitly beyond what they can do. because it's guns and, you know, people in DC, like that's the thing. Like, unfortunately, they still see us as like unruly, like mob. Who we don't want that. You know, I walk around town. I don't want to worry about, you know, people having guns. That's what they think, unfortunately, and that's how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've heard mixed. I mean, I've heard some people think that it might be okay, but it's going to be a 5-4 either way. I think it'll be close.
I'm gonna try something real quick. Let's just do it like this: add right, and add left. Okay, there we go. Yeah, trying to figure out the other thing. Trying to reshape the squares was a pain in the butt. So this is Ecamm Live. Apparently just hitting the add minus button works better, but you have to do it from a flat screen. You can't do it from with all of the... Oh, well, see, now I don't like that. Let's move you to... let's see. Add left. Okay, now can I add left again? Yeah, no, add right. Good grief. I'll just leave it like this. Yeah. And Pierce, you gotta have like an avatar or something, man. I think a lot of cases, I don't know if you guys subscribe to the Armed Attorneys, I think is the name of their channel, their show. Armed Attorneys, they're based out of Texas, and they cover firearms legislation and specifically court cases heavily. Like, their content's very good. I seem to hear them repeating this mantra again and again and again. This is going to smack into, not Chevron. What is the name of that case? Bruin. This is going to smack into the Bruin analysis, because judges are still pretending as if Bruin didn't happen. And yeah, it's a new test, guys. You can't ignore it. We live in the world where case law and, in Pierce, what is that thing called? It's the reason that we do case law. Good night. Stare decisis is a thing. We can't ignore previous court cases, and we can't ignore the test established by the Supreme Court. I mean, we could, but that might mean calamity and civil conflict and these kinds of things. So, oh, did you get bumped? Imperious, your sound is muted. Okay. I think you dropped and came back. Are you still looking for the TikTok? Oh no, you're muted too. Why is everyone muted? Oh no, I had you muted. Sorry, guys.
Wow,
okay.
you're...
Yeah, Dick.
Wow.
You had
Wow,
me muted.
Dick. You had it muted. I had to listen to your monologue, and now I'm muted? Oh my God.
I had to listen to that.
God.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Joe, you missed the more interesting thing. You missed the more interesting ruling, though, or not ruling, but really the decision to not rule on the case. The Alabama Supreme Court appeal for the IVF personhood for unborn fertilization got denied review. That means it stands as case law that unborn children are people.
Hey, screw that case. My case got denied cert by SCOTUS this week. So very upset about that.
What'd you appeal for? What was it, Joe?
Myself, a group of Saline, Michigan parents, and 3 or 4 parents from here in Loudoun, we were suing Merrick Garland in his official capacity as AG for putting us on the naughty list.
Oh, that like watch list or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Threats.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's kind of like wide latitude on what they defer as, what they can do on surveillance and stuff. Fortunately, I don't think they wanted to get into that.
I listened to the hearing, and our attorney outperformed. He got the better of the United States attorney there, and the court was like always, they were putting the screws to our attorney, and they were kind of softballing including Kavanaugh, including the rest of them. They were kind of softballing with the U.S. attorney. And anyway, I was happy with our guy's performance. He argued the right arguments before the court, and he did a good job countering the stupidity. And it's kind of an odd spot because sometimes the justices, when they're asking questions, they're kind of doing like Congress. It's like the question you're asking is kind of stupid, but you can't say that to them. So,
well, they're just coming about it a different way.
Can't say that to them, though.
They're doing. They're thinking about it in a different way. But I think the reason why is it's kind of a moot point now because I think they rescinded that anyways, didn't they? And so I think they were going to argue mootness anyways, and it would just been a waste of time to argue the case. But again, remember, they didn't take the appeal for the parents in Indiana that got their kids removed for being Catholic and not letting them change their name and transition. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
A couple months ago. Yeah, they had. Well, the Catholic parents in Indiana were refusing to, allow transition or feed Indiana that nonsense, and pretty much the CPS took the kid and stuff for a couple months and everything, and because they
did they go to California?
No, they were in Indiana. That's what I was saying. That's why it's so interesting.
No, I know. Did they go to California? Because California has that law.
No, they didn't do that. That would have been a bigger issue, I think. No, that would have been a bigger issue.
That's where I'm saying is like.
No, that's not gonna. That's kind of a. If that actually comes up, that won't stand very long. Just kind of like the AI law didn't stand once it was challenged. You just have to have standing for that, and I don't think you're even going to have standing. I don't think that's even happen.
Indiana is kind of like Republic, but say Republican, but they don't act it ever. They don't really act it ever. I lived in Indiana for a bit of time. Why I say that?
Yeah, I mean that's most Republicans. Unfortunately, they don't really have the determination to do things.
Well, the problem is most of the cities are overpopulated with Democrats, so it's like.
Well done, Mike. Well done. Sorry. Go. I'm just throwing up random comments. Yeah, I'm just throwing up comments so people can read them. You can go. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, did you were you watching CT at all today or anything, or this whole arc that's been going on over there?
I watched an hour of it.
Oh my God!
I like CT.
We're in a cultural scatter point, dude.
Yeah, I understand.
What happened on CT? I haven't watched.
He's been talking about Tashid. What is his last name? Not Tashid. Tariq Rashid. Yeah. I don't know. Samantha, have you seen any of this FBA stuff? Foundational Black American.
It's just the name is so funny to me. I almost giggle every time I hear it.
When I first heard it, I was like, what new stupid woke thing is this that no one cares about and I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole? And then I learned, oh, Lord, I'm a foundational Black American. According to the new woke whatever. It's so FBI.
Yo, I'm going to buy you a Tariq shirt. FBA shirt.
You better not. I don't even want to say these words. FBAs. Why is this a thing? Why is this real life? FBAs are Americans, really Black Americans. They're not going to let anyone else have this, who can trace their lineage back to, no kidding, slave time. So that's circa, 1620 to 1865. And which is really funny because that excludes a lot of people who would not be able to get reparations unless they just do nonsense and are like,
well,
hold up a scale of skin shades, and if you're dark enough, you get reparaps. It means
the Peter
nothing.
Griffin meme, dude. You know, with that little thing they put out and they say the shades of color. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
bad.
it's not even that. It doesn't have to be the color. It's just where you're from. It's like if you're Puerto Rico or you're from the U.S. in general, as a black American, it's fucking ridiculous how they're like, well, you're not black if you're not from the US, and you're not properties of the US. And if you're properties of the US, you're not actually a free black American because you weren't enslaved. And I was like, are you fucking retarded?
CT has his own ideas about that. He doesn't think you're black unless you're sub-Saharan African, but like, you know, they're pretty dark and
Dude,
noticeable bone structure and all.
No. I agree with that, to be honest, because like, here's the thing: what happened with the slave trade? Africans conquered, and what did they do to princes and people that followed the princes? Well, they brutally murdered the prince, and what did they do? They enslaved the rest, right? That's how humans function.
Yeah, this wasn't even unique to Africa. This is war and slavery is the rule, not the exception.
I'm only focusing there just because most people
You're focusing
don't
too much on
understand
it. You have to entertain it
how
as a joke.
conquering is.
Like stop trying to like intellectually break it down because it's bad faith. You
Yeah,
just have to look
the
at it as a
FBA,
joke.
the FBA thing is a joke. It really
Like that's what I'm saying. Like
it's the
It's
latest.
fucking garbage.
It's
Yeah,
the latest.
you're actually like putting too much thought into it. You have to like I treat it as a joke. Like it's funny. It makes me laugh.
No. The problem I have is I get the joke. I got the joke from the get-go, but most people are so stupid that they don't understand the fucking joke and they take it seriously.
No, but I mean, I want stupid people. See, Joe and I disagree a lot on this. I
agree with that, but I'm also want to explain the joke because they're fucking retarded.
Yeah, but that means like if there's more stupid people, that means there's more people you can get to do what you want.
Shelby's gonna make me have to edit this to oblivion to put the podcast out.
What if it's stupid
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joe.
Now, well, Apple Podcast will you can say boobs wrong or something, and they'll slap the
I get that. But it's one of those things where
limit.
I'm just tired of the explaining, and I'm very technical. I'm not a technical person. I'm a very I understand everyone. But the problem is most people don't understand the technical aspect of it, and I have to explain the technical aspect of most things in any kind of like business. So, if you know what I mean.
That's funny. 50 Shades of
fucking retarded. They're retarded.
The one conversation I ever had with Hunter Avallone, which a debate that I lost. I will admit that I did lose that debate. I would like another.
I lose to that guy.
I was tired and walked into a series of I chased some red herrings that I shouldn't have chased.
All you had to do, I mean, you could have been totally like pumped up and like totally confident in yourself. All you had to do is watch some video about what his wife did to him, and you could just start laughing before you went into the debate.
Oh, dude, I watched that shit. I was like, wait, you signed up for that?
I don't know anything about that. This was back in 2022.
Wait,
he doesn't.
Wait, you don't know what happened?
Wait, that happened in 2022. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Joe.
Joe, you were like you missed out on the best thing ever. Oh my god.
I doubt it, but what happened? I'm sure it's something
his
that's
wife
got shot.
Is a lady of the night. Let's just put it that way. Quiet. Let me explain.
Wait, what?
Hold on.
His wife is pretty much a lady of the night.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave so you guys can get into this conversation.
And she got shot by the
thanks, Samantha. Guys, make sure you subscribe to subscribe to Outspoken Samantha.
You know what I'm talking about. High five.
I don't think she does. Yeah.
No, I'm so lost right now, but I'm
Yeah, I'm lost as well.
Oh my. You don't know about
yeah.
Yeah, anyways, I'll give you the rundown, dude. So what happened was this guy, he was married to this woman, and you find out she's like cheating on him the whole time, like the entire time of their marriage and stuff with a bunch of guys, and like wanting to do like the most degrading, ridiculous things ever.
Oh,
And like yeah, so that kind of stuff. The worst kind of thing you'd ever want as a man to happen to you. And I feel kind of bad, but it is what it is, right?
I am black
But
here now. Oh yeah, no.
it is what it is. But I mean, the thing is that he used to be like a really obnoxious guy, and I think honestly, fate kind of came in and kind of humbled him a little bit, dude. You know what I mean? Because it was just he's like Destiny. He's like, remember Destiny had all that, he's all into himself, and when he was married to what's her name, and it was like, the whole pride cometh before the fall, never forget Proverbs,
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You're going to see this with all these liberals. You know who I don't like the most out of all of them, Joe?
Who?
Packman.
Who?
David Packman.
Okay. I really can't stand Destiny the most. He drives me freaking
Destiny's
crazy.
whatever. He's stupid. He's just an autist that talks really fast. Like, he's not. But it's Packman. It's Packman. Like, he has that nerd that you want to that nerd face you want to just punch. You know what I mean? It's not like I ever would, but he has that.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. To be honest,
like Pac-Man has that. It's that bird-looking white guy face. I'm white too, so I know some of us look like birds. And he just and the way he's so bad faith in every single debate he goes into, every single one. And I don't think I've seen him ever in an intellectual conversation be in good faith one time, Joe. Every single question is a what if, a straw man, a red herring. Every conversation is all kinds of logical fallacies, appealing to authority. But then when he appeals to his authority, it's fine. But if you appeal to your authority, he says, oh, well, I thought you didn't do, it's just so disingenuous. So disingenuous, my friend. And even Destiny, when he's not even as disingenuous as Pac-Man is, because Destiny actually believes he's right, where I think Pac-Man just wants to come in there and just mess with you and troll and stuff. I don't think he even I think he's there to just be obnoxious. I think Destiny actually believes he's a good debater when he's not, and I think he actually
he's a horrible debater.
Yeah, I think he believes it, but I think Pac-Man just
has
zero faith at all. Chat. He's just right. Yeah, he's just trying to get clicks and views. So he'll go on, Jesse Lee Peterson's channel and everyone just so that he gets his name out there. I don't think he even believes what he says. He's a total grifter. That's why I don't like it.
Can we talk about right-wing debaters for a second? Because I've been getting some flack in my little communities because I think the best, not just their arguments, but the way they articulate them and things like that. I think the best on our side of issues are, when I say not these two people, I get castigated. I say not Charlie Kirk and not Andrew Wilson. I say Larry Elder, Trent Horn, Ben Shapiro. Three of the...
Ben Shapiro is so not based. He literally just defends anything Israel does. I agree that Israel should actually defend themselves, but the problem I have is that he always defends the bad sides of Israel. Charlie Kirk, he is a good debater of Christianity, but he's not a good debater of like actual.
Well, hold on. Let's go back. You can't pigeonhole Ben Shapiro to Israel. That's what's been going on now. But we've seen this man debate.
It's been that way for a long time. It's been that way for like 2-3 years.
Yeah, but we can't. That's kind of how long
you understand what I'm saying, though.
That's kind of how long Israel's been in the news. I'm talking about when he's debating.
No. I'm talking about before Israel, because like it
he's
didn't
like the most
actually
famous
occur
small hat.
until like
He's the world's most famous small hat person right now. But
dude,
when he's
dude, he is
debating
not that
marriage, when
fucking
he's
famous, bro.
debating,
He is not famous.
that's an interesting take.
I'm gonna say this right now, like, bro,
You don't think his debate style on abortion or on immigration or on the death penalty and these things, you don't think that he's honed in those arguments?
No, I think I think actually Ideal maybe 4 years ago was good, but the problem with it now is that he's so isolated on the Israel aspect of everything that it's
He
not
is.
good.
He is. Yeah, and it
He's
caused all
so
that
hardcore on
Candace
it right
stuff.
now. It's not good.
Even so, I think 3 of the best right-wing debaters are going to be Shapiro, Trent Horn, and Larry Elder.
No, I don't.
I mean, they're
I think
there, but
Larry,
just because they're in the, you have to go to more like in depth, like intellectual, like minds, kind of, like Umberto Fontova or, like God, I'm just trying to think of some in my head. Like again, I'm not reading
there's
as much.
what is it? What is his name? Necht? Jeff Nettle? Necht or whatever?
Yep. Yeah, he's up there, but I mean, it's because like conservative, there's not any like outward debate. You know what I mean? Like David Horowitz is one. I mean, he was he's been
yeah,
like
David Horowitz is good. Was good
David
back in the day.
Horowitz has been around for a long time. God, I mean, I think Robert George is another good one. Alan
What do you guys
Keyes.
think about Kent Hovind? Now that
I
he's
don't
got
know.
that ex-con code.
I actually don't know who that is.
Kent Hovind is sharp as a tack. Oh, you guys gotta know.
I mean, honestly, you got to look at JD Vance, dude. You have to look at JD Vance. I mean,
JD Vance. So I'll say this.
you're gonna no. I mean, I
I'm
know
over speaking
he
right
is
now.
literally he is gonna be up next for the presidency, and he might win because people like that whole like presidential mannerism.
I think Vivek was a better debater than Vance, but
No.
Vance is
No.
Vivek is a snake.
No, you got to realize like the kind of prose and style that he was doing in that debate with Walz. You got to understand, he would do things like he would hold out like olive branch debate tactics. Like, I agree with you on this, my friend. We can come together. But then, because remember, the view of him coming into the debate was he's this hard, real evil conservative man that has no heart, that wants women's rights taken away. He came out of there seeming more friendly and likable to more even middle of the road voters than Walz did. See, and he played the role exactly what needed to be played, exactly how it needed to be played.
No, Imperious, here's where I'm going to agree with you, and you don't understand. He came from a very poor family, coming from Kentucky to Ohio. I know his story because it's similar to mine. You go through a long struggle of not actually having health care and your mother dealing with health care. That's the problem that most middle class and higher class don't understand, is the low incomes bracket doesn't get shit from the government. And what he said in his speeches and biography is the aspect of, I came from here, literally in the Hicks, which is literally poor as fuck, to here. And oh wow, I have a timer now. Thanks. Thanks,
No.
Joe.
You don't have a timer. I'm just putting that up. I mean, I guess technically do. I'm gonna wrap this thing up in 15 minutes, folks. Thanks for joining. That's not a timer for you, dude.
So I saw that, I was like, oh, I have a timer. Nice. But he goes from here to the middle class. He went to Harvard, and then as a low class citizen, graduates from Harvard. Not a lot of people can say they came from the middle class to Harvard and then became a senator, and then he's bringing the aspects of that life to all of us. That's the best thing about JD Vance that no one actually understands, is like he came from dirt poor to being the vice president of the fucking United States. Like, bro, that's a win. That's a fucking win.
No, I
Yeah.
know it's a good story, but that's not what's going to win him the election. What's
No,
going to win him the
I
election?
get that. The what's gonna win is the actual aspect that Trump overrules Kamala, but the best thing JD Vance can actually get from this is if Trump wins, he's guaranteed a legacy. He's guaranteed a legacy. That's a legacy build from that.
Well, yeah, he's going to try to use it as a stepping stone to win in 28. But that's
Dude,
what I was saying.
Dude, I read his biography pick and I was just like, dude, this actually, I understand this. I'm from fucking Kentucky. He's from Kentucky. Well, technically not, because his grandparents are from Kentucky and they moved to Ohio and then got a better life, you know. It's how it goes.
I feel so ridiculous growing a YouTube channel again. Oh well, peer pressure,
dude,
folks.
Well, you treat us like the black sheep of the family over there. You don't even acknowledge us on the YouTube channels.
What are you
yeah,
talking
you
about?
don't even put me on.
You sit there on Twitter and Rumble, and you got, it's like they're those are your beautiful white kids, and we're your black kid over there sitting just in the corner.
I feel like the token child of the family, Joe.
I would never. Okay, we paid good money. We paid good money for black kids in this country. Get them imported all the way from Africa.
Every fucking child ever heard in their life, I would never. I'm drinking now for it.
That was a good one. That was a good one. In period. Treat me like you're black kids. My kids are black. Well, they're only half black. So
I knew it.
Yeah,
And Joe, you know what's funny is one of the sororities I had that was their house was next to us had like a half black, half white girl that was, but she looked white. You know what I mean? And like I said, so that's like that's your Twitter kids, and then we're the one that came out with the curly hair and everything, Joe. So it's all right.
All of my kids are very light skinned, but they also all have very curly hair. I mean, you look at them.
You can get like the real, like the ones that come out like mostly white, like Heidi Klum's kids. You know what I mean?
What do you call a what do you call a black kid who's a redhead?
Oh, I don't know. That's impossible.
What?
I don't know.
Ginger naps.
Ooh,
that's fucking son.
What do you call
I hate you right now. I hate you.
What do you call a black guy in a wheelchair?
I got nothing.
What?
Knight Rider.
That's so stupid. Gimpy, I don't get the red stapler thing. I'm gonna have to go back.
You gotta watch. I
Office
can't believe
Space.
you've never seen Office Space. That's like one of the most classic.
Wait,
like,
you've never seen Office Space?
I've never seen Office Space. Apparently.
Oh my fucking god!
Shelby, calm down,
Joe?
buddy. Calm down. You've been spurging out the whole stream. You got to stop the cursing a little bit, bud. Sorry. If I can hold it back, you can too, buddy.
It's true.
I get that.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
Shelby, what Sean Ryan episode were you talking about?
Which one? What did I say previously?
Sean Ryan episode talked about it.
The latest episode, it talked about the hurricane with North Carolina. and it was
The
joint
person in charge of weather
state.
manipulation? No, just kidding.
No. It was the joint task. No, joint state task force. Whereas from Florida, they were sent up to North Carolina, and it was such a big deal. That Sean Ryan noticed, because like how it was not actually covered and like actually taken care of. And Michigan, I guess Michigan State came in, their Michigan State stuff came in and didn't take care of anything. And what happened was Florida's Joint Task Force came in and is trying to actually do stuff, but they're blocked off.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's freaking ridiculous. Gimpy hit the nail on the head. There's no profit in helping U.S. only and handouts around the world. Yep, that's why that's why they do this nonsense.
Dude, we haven't actually been endorsed by any country since fucking the revolution, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. We didn't become a superpower until
we didn't become a superpower until World War II, but the problem is that most European states were like, well, they're pussies. We don't actually have to deal with them. We don't really care about them. They actually went against Britain. They barely won.
No. We were the richest country in the world. We were in the
No. We were. No.
Because...
I don't disagree with you. Imperius. I'm saying the aspect is most Europeans thought we were pussies back in the day because we relied on the French to actually do that.
They thought we were crazy barbarians, dude. They thought we were like these crazy barbarians that were like these wild Western people that were like conquering the plains and going into the mountain. They thought we were like these savage monsters, dude. They didn't want anything to do with us. Like, you got to understand, like, we were on the other side of the world, and they were like, we ain't going over there to mess with those dudes. That's why, like, when we came over in World War I, that was the end of it. It's always because we're like, we got to realize, like, our culture, our history, our, like, essence here is to conquer and to expand. We have manifest destiny here. And it's really ingrained in all of us. And that's why we have such a competitive instinct here in this country. And that's the biggest thing that is breaking our country down. There is no competition anymore. Everything is in a kind of like feminine lens where it doesn't matter the conversation, but matters how people feel during the conversation about the conversation.
I think the biggest problem with military...
Gimpy,
go ahead.
Shelby, give me a second, brother. And... you know, I think in general, people need to just open their eyes, and you need to have, if you want things to change, like we keep saying, you know, all this money, all this everything, unless people really feel it badly to where they're forced to make a change, people won't change. And unfortunately, that's just human nature. And as bad as we think things are going right and bad here, we're miles ahead of everybody else. Even like during the economic downfall, as bad as it was here, it was 10 times worse. If you look over like in the last year or two, and I'm not saying like Biden's all great, or I'm not saying all that. It's just a natural conclusion of just how the world system is made. And it shows how actually powerful and how intricate we have our paws in everything. That I think since 2022, we're up like 3.5% on average over every currency. I think we're like 11% up on the Japanese currency. I think we're 6.5% up on the Chinese, the yen. Like we're up a ton. Like we're up on Korea's too. We're up on the euro. I'm telling you, like it's very interesting that it's because as bad as we are here, everybody is so interconnected and everybody else is in more debt that we can sustain it. Because if you look at just the country itself, we're the only nation, I think, that could be self-sustaining. We have enough oil, we have enough natural
So
gas, we have enough food production that we could be self-sufficient if we wanted to. That's a big issue. That's the difference.
I agree with you there. Is if we actually did frack up like what we did in the 2016 to 2020 before Trump got actually not presidency, we would have killed most of the time, which I think that's what caused the biggest downfall for Trump is we killed Iran's actual economy, and we killed Saudi Arabia's because we just fracked the whole entire time. We lowered the cost of the actual barrels to the gallon, which was at I think 50, and it lowered down to like 25 or something like that. I don't
I
remember.
don't think we should give a crap about what's going on with their
No,
production
I
or
don't really
value.
give a shit about anyone outside the U.S. That's my whole point. Is like we should not give any shit about the U.S. like outside of the U.S. We need to focus on ourselves and just say fuck everyone else. I think we need to leave the NATO. We need to leave everything else. Just say fuck it. What I'm saying is like the aspect of everything is, dude, I think if Trump won the election in like 2020, this would be a different country. In total, like we'd be profiting, we'd be drilling, we'd be doing all this stuff, and we'd have a surplus of actual resources, and our actual economy would be decreasing and not, instead of increasing in debt. And I'm just sick and tired of like people saying that it's, oh yeah, this. And I'm just like, Kamala is literally in the same presidency right now. And we've actually almost doubled the debt. We've almost doubled the debt in the last 4 years. Come on. Are we kidding
Yeah,
right now?
the debt is outperforming all of the normal compounding metrics, like that rule of 7. The debt is insane, and the interest on the debt. What is it? Every 90 days. Every 90
it's like
days.
every 90 days. It's like every 100 days. Technically, by 100 days, it's $1 trillion.
Yeah.
And I'm saying is like there's literally 365 days. So that means you carry off the 35 days. So that means we have $4 trillion every year.
You got
Basically,
but
it's like
remember, all
or like
this is funny money. This is all funny money. These can be
it's
written
all
off in
funny
treaties.
money
They can
if we go by on the aspect of oil. But we're not going
no,
by the aspect of oil because it's not
no. The
covered by
debt,
oil anymore.
the debt is an abstract number. Okay, the debt doesn't actually mean anything if other
Oh
countries.
no,
If you so what I'm saying is that's not okay. That's not the actual issue. Through many treaties, most notably Versailles, you can write off debts. You can write off all. Look,
oh dude,
the debt is not an issue necessarily. Okay, what is
yeah,
an issue is the cost the cost per individual income. Okay, because what keeps the US as the most dominant country is that we have the highest cost of living relative and with a relatively high income per person. Okay,
yeah.
that's what keeps America at the top. And so what's the problem that's happening is not the debt. The debt is an abstract number that really will never come to fruition on anything, because if it comes to a national security issue, it would come to war before it came to any debt. And remember, people forget, I think it's 82 to 84% of all that debt is owned by U.S. citizens. And if they just said,
Actually,
and if they just said write it off,
so
they could.
technically
Dude,
it is, but
relax.
it's
Hold on.
also
Relax,
not at
brother.
the same time.
Relax, brother. Relax. It is because it's all bond based. These are all bonds
No,
that the U.S.
yeah,
government sells, and all those bond yields and everything like that, okay, is held by U.S. I think it's 82 to 84%. And if the U.S. citizens said, "Look, this is a national security issue," we'll write it off. We don't care. Like that's abstract. You know what I mean, Joe? That's an issue that will never really come to fruition. The issue we're having is that you're seeing citizens because of the crime, because of the influx of a massive amount of population that destroys infrastructure and the daily lives and the daily enjoyment of life, you're seeing a lowering of status of living, like how you live, and the individual wages are not raising relatively to cost. So people are feeling it. They're feeling it not just in what.
There's also the funniness in the debt stuff. Just doesn't make sense. It's like U.S. owes China. Well, China owes Germany. Germany owes the U.S. You ask any one of the parties, and they'll say, we're kind of waiting
just
on
moving cups. You're moving cups.
Exactly.
All it is moving cups.
The debt conversation, it's funny money in a lot of ways. And when it comes down to it, when certain nations like ours said, if we said, well, we're not paying this, or if they're
It wouldn't even be that. It would
national
be a multinational
security
treaty.
Yeah,
it would be a multinational treaty that would just write it off in some balance.
And the national security element is what will win the day.
All right, so I was muted. Basically, what you're saying is
you got to make this point in like 30 seconds, dude, because we're over time.
All right, so most people from war owe America.
I didn't say talk like Joe Biden. I said just make your point in like 30 seconds.
No,
I'm
restorations.
getting out of here.
Like we literally are owed restorations because we cover everyone.
No, I mean that's not the issue. The issue is more just
No,
it's an abstract.
I was making a joke about
concept.
that, by the way. I was making a joke.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. It's just an abstract concept, a number that's never going to reach fruition to anything. Because if you look, all that matters really is the valuation of the dollar compared to other world currencies.
No.
And as I was saying, it's very actually strong right now, which is surprisingly but again, it really just shows how the U.S. it just shows how intricate the U.S. economy is to the world comparative to anybody else. Because we bared through all that inflationary measures, and the dollar is still relatively strong. The issue really isn't the raising of the price. The issue is that wages haven't risen, Joe, in relative 25 years. If these wages had grown in relatively normally for the past 25 years, the inflation that we had this last couple of years would have never even been a political issue. It would have never been noticed, Joe. But that's the problem, is that wages, actual income, is not raising. That is what will cause issues with the populace. It's not because you can have a normal inflation of even 3-4% a year. If you're having wage growth of 6-7% like people were in the 80s and 90s a year. So
all right.
That's all.
Well, we will leave it there.
Thank you for the good show, Joe. Appreciate
the freaking debt.
It's a great show, to be honest.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Imperius. Thank you, seriously, Shelby, for everything that you do, man, in Discord and
thanks, Shelby.
And here on the tubes. Guys, I'm gonna go eat root beer floats with my wife. So thanks for being here,
dude. I'm gonna go drink a beer. Go drink a beer for me, Joe.
Maybe I'll put some bourbon.
I'm gonna drink a beer
in the root beer. Guys, thanks for watching the show. If you're still here, you are what I call a fan. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you feel so led, you can donate on Cash App. The link's in the description. And following all the things. I really like these samples. So if you want to build is greater than break, or I dropped it. An uncloseted conservative hat. We've always had shirts, but I'm so excited about these freaking hats. If you want an uncloseted conservative hat, then let me know. Maybe you'll get an early release or a limited edition color. So guys, that's all I got. I will see you in the next one. Peace.